En este vídeo os dejamos con la conferencia completa de Sally Corporation, ¿vale? Que por primera vez lo vamos a hacer en el canal y creemos que os va a interesar mucho.
Un aplauso, ¿no?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you all were able to enjoy the attraction yesterday. Did you ride?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yes.
Okay, I hope so. I absolutely loved the attraction. It was very special for us at Sally Corporation. Obviously, Sesame Street is very well known over the world, and it was an honor and a dream come true for us to build this attraction. Let me tell you a little bit about our company, Sally Corporation. We were established in 1977, so we are 42 years old. The company, not me. And we began as an animatronics company. We started making robots, really to help brands market and be more entertaining. So we started with single animatronic characters 42 years ago, and I'll show you a little bit of that.
Our talented staff of dream makers are ready to bring your ideas to life. Big or small, we can make your dreams a reality.
So that gentleman speaking is actually one of our founders and our CEO of Sally Corporation. Sally was founded by 3 Johns, and this is one of them right here, John Rob Holland, holding the original Sally head. So he was in dental school, and he had to give an entertaining presentation about communications. So he built a robot head, named it Sally, and had it talk for the presentation. It was very cool, but then we started to really make a business out of it. And today, 42 years later, animatronics are one part of what we put in our dark rides. So I'll show you a little bit of who we are today. That was enjoyable, not too funny, but after 42 years, we really do consider ourselves the dark ride specialists of the industry. And Sesame Street was a very special attraction, one that we managed from start to finish. We consider ourselves a turnkey company. We handle it all. So at Sally Corporation, we begin with concept design. We have mechanical fabrication in under our roof, animatronic production, as I talked about. We handle all of the special effects that go into the attraction, show control, ride systems, scenic, digital animation, soundtrack, installation, and project management. So from start to finish, we kind of, we're the general contractors of the project. We pull in a lot of great other companies to work with us. And Rich Hill can talk a little bit more about the Sesame Street attraction and who we worked with. Let me introduce him right now. Rich Hill is our creative director at Sally. And he is the mastermind behind
It really is so amazing to see the evolution of our company. To go from such meager beginnings to such heights is really neat. I love seeing those videos, so great introduction. Thank you. So my job at Sally Corporation is creative director, and basically what that means, I have to come up with the vision of attractions, introduce the story, and work with the clients to make sure that the vision that is initially set comes through at the end. So if you'd like, here.
I'm going to go ahead and, yeah.
So do you guys know about the mystery that's happening on Sesame Street? It's really amazing. The big cookie has gone missing, and Detective Grover needs our help to go out there and collect clues and figure out who's responsible for taking the big cookie. So as you know, most of you, it sounds like were able to ride yesterday. So that's really great. I hope you enjoyed it. But we'll take you through a little bit of how we developed the ride and how it evolved into what you saw yesterday. So first, in our department, we have kind of a small company. We're, 45 people, isn't that right?
Not bad.
And and so the design department is 6 people, but we hire out a lot of our production design. So we do a lot of our in-house concept design. So some of the work here, where you'll see, this is Big Bird in the playground. This is the 3D model of Big Bird's playground. This is Count's Castle exterior. This is a 3D model of Count's Castle exterior. All of this was done in-house. Then when it comes to designing the actual sets and scenery for production, we went to a company called Brian Morrow Productions. They're a really excellent company to work with. They did a lot of the 3D modeling for actual production, for the cutting of the foam, all of the stuff that goes into creating the sets and scenery. So then we, after we've come up with the concept, we go into technical and prototype testing. So what that consists of is basically designing the ride vehicles. We thought they'd be really cool to have the actual attraction take place on the streets of Sesame Street. So it makes sense for us to be in Sesame Street taxi cabs. And so our ride vehicles were ETF trackless vehicles. They're yaw-enabled, so they can spin, they can speed up, stop, and there's no track. So it really makes it look like the streets are real, and you don't have to see a track in front of you showing you where you're going to go. We use Real D 3D in the attraction. As you probably noticed, on the screens, it really pops out at you. You see some of the targets will jump off the screen literally. And that's because of this, it's called a polarized 3D. And so we have the 3D glasses here that, you don't want to take these home with you, as you probably know. And then with the interactive devices, it was very important when we were talking with Sesame Street to not use anything that looked like a gun. Basically, we had to stay away from that. So we developed this interactive device that looks kind of like a Wii or like a remote control, and it has a very easy to use button on top that's easy to press. A lot of times in interactive dark rides, when you have these interactive devices, your finger can get tired from pressing it so much. This was very easy to use and a lot of fun. So character design. Working with Sesame's workshop, it was very important for them that we get the characters right. They are all about their characters. In the ride we've got Oscar the Grouch, Big Bird, we've got Bert and Ernie, or Blas and Epi, as you guys are used to calling them. We have Coco, Detective Coco, or Detective Grover. We have, called Oscar the Grouch, Count Von Count, we have Batty Bats, we have all of these really...
Abby Cadabby.
Yeah, Abby Cadabby, yeah. We have all of these really great characters that it was very important for us as well as Sesame Street, for us to really nail those characters, exactly the looks that they had from the show. And so we went through and we actually worked with Henson Creature Shop to develop the outsides of the characters. And then we at Sally built the mechanisms for the interior parts of the animatronic characters. With the CG modeling, we used a company called Bon Art, and they're out of Bulgaria. We basically direct them through the building and the animating of these characters. But we thought that it was very important for us to nail the way that the performances are on the show. So me and 2 of my designers went up to New York City to Sesame Workshop, and we actually had all of the performers act out the entire ride on camera while we directed them. And then we took all of that footage and we gave that to Bon Art to use as reference. So what you see in the attraction are actual performances that were directed by those performers. And that was very important for us. The performers too, after we were done getting the performances, they came to us and said, wow, this is really unique. Nobody's ever used our performances to direct animation. So that was a pretty unique scenario. So the facade is beautiful, isn't it? That's like one of the most amazing dark ride facades or attraction facades I think I've ever seen. This was actually designed by the park, and it was built by Techmold and Play-Day. And they just did a fantastic job. The only thing that Sally provided for this was we built the models for Detective Grover and the top of the fountain. And what a great fountain that is. It was really, really beautiful. So, definitely we took a lot of pictures out in front of that yesterday. And everybody on social media has just been going nuts over it. So it's really exciting, really exciting. So we worked with Techmold a little bit on the inside too. A lot of local labor was used when we didn't have the manpower to accomplish some of the things we needed to have done. We hired people locally, including Techmold and Play-Day. So it was really a big teamwork, a lot of collaboration between the park, local forces. I mean, we had people from all over the world working on this. There's people from Belgium, France, Bulgaria, as I've said, obviously the States, people from all over. And it was really amazing having so many interesting people on site. We really, when Sally Corporation has a job, we like for it to be a team, so even if you're not a Sally employee, we bring them in as a team and we all work as a team, and it was really fun.
Almost become a family at the end, don't we?
That's right. Seriously, we got to enjoy your town, Villa Seca is amazing, so I think I've eaten at every restaurant around, and had to slow down a little bit because my wife's going to be mad, I'm going to be mad. But it's just been great, enjoying your town, and everybody's been so hospitable and just really, really nice. So it's been an excellent experience. So the animatronics. When Sally builds an attraction, we like for there to be both virtual and practical elements. So virtual would be the movies on the screen. The practical would be animatronics. We have physical sets and scenery. We'll go into a little bit of that later. But these animatronics are kind of our keystone. These are what Sally hangs their hat on. We've built animatronics, as you saw in that early video. This is what we've done for a long time. We do it really well. So this is one of the things that we keep in-house. And we really loved building these characters. Big Bird, Abby Cadabby, these are 2 iconic characters from the Sesame Street universe. And it was just amazing getting to work with them. We actually had Sesame's workshop, a bunch of their employees come out over the past few days and take a look at the characters and approve them on site. And they worked with our animators to make sure that the performances, even though we got those early performances as reference, we adjusted those performances and made sure that the characters were looking us right in the eyes. They're talking to each other. They have the correct poses and the correct mannerisms. All of that is very important. So it's really been fun. working with these characters. And we think that they do a great job, a great performance inside the ride. So practical elements, so again, these are some more of the elements that we build in-house at Sally Corporation. So you'll see, here are some of the cookie crumb clues that we collect. If you're a gamer, it's important to know the smaller cookie crumbs are worth 100 points, the medium cookie crumbs are worth 500 points, and the larger ones are 1,000. And then there's one bonus target somewhere in the ride that if you find it, if you notice, all of the targets end in 00, except for this bonus target, which ends in 55. It's 5,555. So we did that because on the scoring console, when you see that 55, it looks like SS for Sesame Street. So be aware, you got to look for that. It's a hidden one. So you can see the gargoyles that are outside of Count's Castle. They're really fun. They make the noise when they eat the cookies. We've got mailboxes you can open up. We've got lights you can turn off, fans you can turn on. It's really amazing if you it's not immediately apparent, but if you do use your collector all around the room, there are a number of things that might not be apparent at first, but actually are targets. So it's a lot of fun. You can see one of our artists here painting the cookie crumbs inside in the shop. Yeah, they're pretty neat. It's a lot of fun. So again, practical and virtual. This is what Sally Corporation is all about. With a dark ride, it's important that you feel like you're in the story. The story is so important. We're trying to tell that story in a way that's easy to understand while you're playing the game. When you're playing the game, it's easy to get lost in targets and not understand what the characters are saying or what's going on as far as why am I here or why am I going there. So it's always a balance. But the practical and virtual, we think, helps bring you into that world because you see the virtual things on screen. Let's face it, anybody can sit in their house and watch TV or play a video game on TV. The things that make our rides interesting and more immersive are that we bring these practical elements into it that you can actually see. It's a tangible thing. You can walk up and touch it if you get out of the vehicle. Which
Don't
you
do that.
not want to do. No getting out of the vehicle, please.
But it's that nice blend.
That's right. So you can see that we have, Blas Epi. There's Coco. If you clue collect the cash register, you hear a cha-ching, and the little handle comes up. If you hit the milkshake machine, it makes milkshakes for you and lights up. You can hit the practical elements down here. You can turn the boxes around. There are targets that are revealed behind the boxes. If you're a gamer, this is where you can ride this ride, all day, every day, and probably not find all the targets and the hidden Easter eggs and all the fun things that are inside these scenes. There are literally thousands and thousands of targets and layers of gaming that we built into this. So even if you're a grandma, and you've never played a video game in your life, you're gonna have fun playing this game because it's very simple. But then if you're a gamer, you can go really deep and figure out all the ways to unlock puzzles and find the Easter eggs and find the bonus targets. And so it really is, pretty intense. Can be. So here we have media and show control integration. So this is the virtual side of what we do. As you can see here, this is a 180-degree wraparound screen. If you noticed in scene 6, we call it scene 6, but it's the interior of Count's Castle, where you actually break the plane of the screen and fly through Count's Castle. That is one of those moments that in a Sally dark ride, we like to amplify the emotion until you kind of hit this crescendo of flying or sometimes we do loops or corkscrews, all of these things that you don't find in a traditional dark ride, but you do in a Sally ride because we feel like it's important to make a little bit of a different feeling, a different emotion throughout it's called the hero's journey, and it's a story arc. And that story arc peaks with our Count's Castle interior. You can see here, this is that Count's Castle interior. This was when we were doing edge blending, and this is what it looks like when it's finally on the screen. And yeah, it's a pretty intense scene. We also use projection mapping. So in a number of scenes, we've got practical sets and scenery that are dimensional, but then we project light on them, similar to how we're doing here. See here? Similar to that, but we do that on a practical, built-out, three-dimensional set. And so what that does is it makes it feel like that scenery is built out. You can see a perspective shift as you go side to side. It's pretty interesting. So as you can see here, the Count and Coco, they're both virtual, but then we've got Abby Kadabi that comes down from the ceiling, and she is an animatronic. And so we're blending these things. And then we also have practical doors that you go through, and Abby Kadabi is able to use her magic, and it projection maps her sparkles of magic on the doors, and they open. And so with the projection mapping, it's great to be able to blend those virtual and practical elements together. So pretty neat. You can see there the magic. And so this also lends itself to show control integration, which is the timing of the ride. Basically, my job isn't complete when the design is finished. I have to come on site and then make sure that all of the artists that are here and the technicians are able to time the ride and make sure that it works basically like a clock. So these doors, when we have to make sure that when that animatronic does her arm like this, and then the CG makes that practical swirl of magic on the doors at a certain time, and then those doors have to open at a certain time. And so we have to time all of that. So you've probably ridden 1 or 2 times. I've probably ridden 1,000 times. And while it's fun, it's not always fun until the end. Because in the beginning, it's kind of a big mess. And so we have to figure out all of those timing cues and make sure that they happen at the exact right time. And so what you see at the end plays out very simply. You think, oh wow, that just happens. It's almost like magic. But it's not. It's a lot of code, and it's a lot of programmers, and it's a lot of artists that are behind the scenes making these things happen. So, project management, art direction, and installation. So basically, this is what we have been doing over the past 6 months. We've been here on site, making sure that everything goes into place accurately, that it goes into the correct locations. You can see here's some of the team. Like I said, everyone here is from all over the world. It's a big mix, and we all had fun having dinners and drinks in your local.
Maybe a little wine.
Yeah, just a little wine. Some vino tinto, maybe. But you can see these are some of the most hardworking people in the industry. They all came together, and we all chipped in and made sure that it happened. You can see this is a great setup here, where it shows one of our local workers, myself, and Blas, and then we have the virtual that is going into place, and we're making sure that everything lines up and everything works. This is right after we put the character into place. And so these are always exciting moments because we've been working on this attraction for years. Well, about 1.5 years, and to finally see him in his location, all of these parts coming together at once is just an exciting time. Very exciting. So, this is the first ever Sesame Street dark ride in Europe. I know Port Aventura does, this is the first dark ride, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And 50th year of Sesame Street, and so we couldn't be prouder. And we hope that you guys enjoy it, and we hope that you tell all your friends to ride, and that you figure out where some of those puzzles and some of those bonus targets are. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Organizing this conference, this vision of the attraction. Bueno, bueno, si alguien quiere hacer una pregunta, mi compañera Laura está aquí. Podéis escribir la pregunta en las cartulinas que os va a pasar ella. Yes. What's the system more or less? Because they are so interested about what's the system of the electricity in the different parts of the ride.
Technical components.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So it is called a trackless ride system by ETF, but there actually is a track. It's kind of a funny oxymoron, but so in the concrete they cut a trough, and then there's a metal rail that goes in that's then buried into the concrete, and so the ride vehicle has sensors underneath it that it is able to see that rail using magnetism, and it sees it and it follows that path. And so then there are also sensors on the ground that are little metal pads. If you ride the ride and you look down, every once in a while you'll see just a little metal pad. And what that does is give us the triggers, so it understands, okay, now show 3 is going to start, say, or show 2. And so sensors, again, underneath the vehicle, see those pads and understand which ones they are and where the vehicle is located.
Okay, so interesting, these details.
It is.
We love
So many
these details because everybody knows the ride, but these details is really interesting for the fans.
Sure. So it's also the ride vehicles also have internal batteries that they last for a couple of days, but we plug them in every night and give them a charge in the station. But they have banks of batteries inside them that are kind of similar to an electric vehicle, where it needs to be charged every once in a while. But it'll run for basically 2 days without charge. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting system. We have onboard audio, we have onboard lighting. There's obviously the gaming system that's on board. And so there are a number of special effects and things we can do inside of these vehicles. They have a yaw, so what that means is it can continuously spin in 360. And they go about, I believe, 10 RPMs, so revolutions per minute. But yeah, they're really good vehicles. Really, they'll last. We have a number of vehicles that we've used in the past, these similar vehicles, and that have been in operation for, I believe, 16 years?
17.
And 17 years, and still running strong. So you have many years.
It's interesting. And the other question, the second question, do you have, of course, you know totally the ride, but they want to know what's the tricks for find the good punctuation, because obviously it's a competition, 6 persons competition, and what's the tricks? Not only, of course, because they want yes, it's a secret, but what any trick for understand where is the better punctuation in the attraction?
So I really can't give away a whole lot, guys, but I see you recorded.
Go for the big cookies.
Yeah, go for the big cookies. They're 1,000 points, that's obvious. Look for that bonus target. There are a number of clues that will tell you where that is.
The bonus target looks a little different.
Yep, it's a little different, yep. Let's see. So you will notice that when you hit the target, it will repopulate. But if it's, say you hit a 1,000-point clue, it's going to repopulate with a lower value. So you don't want to sit and try and wait for that to pop back up. So you collect one cookie, and then it's going to pop back up another cookie, but that's going to be maybe a 100-point cookie. So you want to move around a lot. Moving around is key. One thing that I like to do, I like to take the clue collector, and I have one hand here and one hand here.
Vamos a ser los mejores jugadores. Más trucos, por favor.
It will collect as fast as you press that button. And so you can do a lot of damage with that.
Okay, the other question about your projects now in Europe. Do you have any project here in Europe or not, or in another continent? What's in Europe?
Sure, yeah. Like we said, we've been doing We've been in operation for 42 years, so it has allowed us to go into many different countries. Here locally, around this area in Europe, we have done rides for Wallaby Belgium, our Tutankhamun ride. We've done Legoland Windsor, the Lost Kingdom Adventure, or Laser Raiders, I believe the name is. We've done Terramitica, Labyrinth of the Minotaur. Dinopolis, yeah, I know there's, how many? 6 or 7 in Europe.
I think we're at 9.
9,
Yeah.
wow. So we'll keep doing it too. What am I missing?
Yeah. Let's see, Vimmerby, Sweden, we did Astrid Lindgren's World. There was a ride that we did there called Salt Kraken. That was a good one.
Yeah, we've enjoyed it.
Yeah, we love Europe. I mean, it is so great to come over here and spend time. You know, I need to figure out how to speak Spanish. So sorry if you guys don't understand what I'm saying here.
Okay, more questions. All the people want more questions because, yes, of course, it's so interesting that you're explaining.
Sure.
And they are fans, and obviously they want to know all.
That's great.
Wow. How does the game collector, interact with the screen?
Sure, sure.
And how does the screen know where we are pointing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we worked with Alterface. They have created a really interesting interactive system. It's basically camera-based. So say we wanted to make this entire stage interactive. What we would do is we would have a camera back there that projects a virtual grid everywhere, all over this. And it interacts with infrared. So if I had this little infrared laser pointer, and I'm pointing here at this T, it would understand through that virtual grid, there's a square here. It would say, okay, in the X, Y coordinate, where we've got, 113 by 356, it just hit that square at that time. And when it does that, oh, see, it hit it. Wow. So when they do that, it understands where you are, who you are, what color you are, and it assigns that number and points it to you.
You want to talk a little bit about the trajectory too? You actually get to see your shot.
Yeah, trajectories are really cool. No, I guess not. Oh well. So one thing that is unique about the gaming system that we have in this attraction is that, for one, we have perspective shifting, where when you come in and out of the scene naturally perspective shifts, and things move in 3D. But then we also have trajectories, is what we call them. And so it's when you try to collect a clue, it arcs. You can see the arc going into the screen. And that just gives you a more natural feeling. And it also allows you to understand the color that you are, so you can see where you're blasting. When you have a lot of people trying to collect in the same location, you can, it helps identify where you are.
Who you are, yeah.
Who you are.
If you're the green shot, or that's the purple shot, it's a little, it helps educate the rider.
Yeah, they're pretty, it's a pretty sophisticated system, but it should feel simple,
It should feel easy.
That's right.
Easy to understand.
Yeah, especially since the demographic, is so wide-ranging. We want younger children all the way up to grandparents to be able to ride this ride and understand what they're doing. So it's very important for it to be easy. But then we also have, again, those layers of gaming that if you are a gamer, you can go way deep in here and score a lot of points.
Yeah, there's nothing more frustrating, than riding an interactive ride and not understanding how to play the game. You don't have fun. You get confused, you walk off, and you're like, what just happened? So we need to make it simple but fun so that everyone, in a matter of just a few seconds, knows how to play, understands what they're doing, and then can enjoy the experience from start to finish.
That's right. Yep. And it is fun. I've played that game a million times.
I want to play more.
She still beats me all the time. Yeah, it's unfair. She's a sharpshooter.
More questions. about this collaboration with Sally and PortAventura. Do you want to repeat the experience? Do you want to repeat with other projects? What's your sensation?
Absolutely. Yeah, we would love to do something with you guys again. Yeah. We haven't talked about anything yet, but right after this, we'll
For me, of course.
Yeah, right. I mean, any suggestions of, you guys have suggestions, I'm sure the park would love to hear them.
Yeah.
We can ask to the fans.
That would be great. Yeah, I think it would be great.
¿Os gustaría que hicieran más cosas?
Sí, sí.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, I think that's, I don't know, is the last question, yes?
Yeah. Anyone? Those are more questions. ¿Alguno más? Perdón. ¿Tenéis más preguntas? No. Okay.
Okay. I have one. Oh, we have time? Yeah. It's short question.
No, fine. This is fun.
It's the last question. One of the fans makes this question. I work creating animatronics in cinema, and I know the complications in an animatronic. Who was making the maintenance about the attraction, the ride? PortAventura or you during this time? Or during this...
Doing the maintenance?
Yeah.
So Roher is going to be in charge of maintenance for the team. And it is his baby now.
Yeah.
And so with the animatronics, if we do have any issues, generally they're fairly easy. We have a maintenance manual, and PortAventura's maintenance team is able to handle those little issues. If there's something that they can't understand or can't fix, usually they'll call us. We'll send a technician out that will come out and look at the character. But really, these characters, they last forever. They are our maintenance team, our mechanical team. They build these things like
Almost too good.
Yeah. I mean,
isn't it time to buy another one?
if you were to take the outside layer off of these characters, they're almost more beautiful on the inside. They are just works of art, and they last a long, long time. So they're really one of the things that the park doesn't have to worry a whole lot about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Really, for your explanations, for all the details. Yes, we are so happy for this conference, really.
Oh.
Really. And I suppose the fans too.